spend a lot of time in the kitchen cooking and preparing meals, chances are you use recipes. But where do you put the recipes while you're working on the meal? You can't just lay them on a countertop. Of course, they'll get wet and ruined. They do make racks you could buy, I guess, that sit on the counter. It's almost like it'll hold a cookbook or a recipe card. But I found them much easier and a much more affordable way. I just took a wooden clothespin and I attached it to the back of the cabinet. Most cabinets, kitchen cabinets, have a face frame, and the bottom is recessed up. So it allows you to attach, in this case, a wooden clothespin to the back of the face frame. Then when you don't need it, you just swing it up out of the way. How cool is that? So it just swings down, and you can put in recipe cards, or I often print recipes out of the internet, just print it out. You can see it holds it up out of the way, but you can very clearly see it and read it. Or newspaper articles. People still read newspapers? Well, if you do, you'll find that they often have recipes in there. And then, again, when you're not using it, you can flip it up out of the way, or you can also use it for notes. Like, if you text your kids and they never get back to you and you want to give them a message, you can write it on a piece of paper and clip it in there. And then again, you can move it out of the way. There's only a single screw holding it in place. And you want it just tight enough that it allows you to pivot it down, not too tight, of course, but tight enough that it stays up in place. Okay, let me show you how I made this. Start by drilling a hole in one end, not all the way through, but just in one end of the clothespin. There you go. That's for the screw. The screw will go through that hole. But now this leg is in the way to get the screw in, so what you do is just clip that off. I guess you could saw it, but I usually just use needle nose pliers that have wire cutters on them. And just clip off, I don't know, maybe 3/8 of an inch or so. There you go. Now you have access to put the screw in. And so now you just take this, hold it in place behind the cabinet with a pencil, mark where that hole is. Then drill a very shallow pilot hole, just a little bit to get the screw started. And once you make that hole, you just screw it in place. And again, you want to tighten up the screw just enough to hold it up out of the way when you don't need it, but it can pivot down easily when you do.